Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. We have made it to Ryoshima coast, where things are looking a bit stanky with darkness. You'd think taking Orochi's physical form would be enough, but no, like a bad fart, he lingers, ever plaguing the world.
And look, we have a new enemy!
Oh my god, he's sick.
So, essentially the way that the enemies work in Okami is that in each new section of the game that we get to, there are, in effect, different enemy variants.
Ah, okay.
So, we have green, red, etc. So these are the Guardians.
They're already dead, mate.
I know.
Didn't speak quick enough.
But essentially they... if you've seen the little statues around Shinshu Field, the ones that we were giving the pots to...
Oh yes, yeah.
They're essentially based on that, because they are desecrated Buddha statues, and none of them have any heads.
Huh, interesting. Also, isn't this the thing that Kushi was using to fill up the sake?
Indeed it is, and it's how we're going to rescue our guardian sapling that's located around here. Now, just want to quickly say whilst we're doing this, because we're going to be at it a little while, the Guardians are based on the Jizo statues that often stand in the roads helping travellers and children, which is obviously what I was mentioning. But also, Jizo is a bodhisattva, or a bosatsu in Japanese, that is to say the being who postpones his attainment to nirvana until the other beings attained it first.
Aww.
So basically it's helping other people attain deification and, well, achieving nirvana before you get it yourself. What's actually fascinating is that they are the only common enemies in Okami that don't have a counterpart to the green imp, despite the fact that we have a green version, because the Headless Guardian, which is what we fought, are the equivalent of the red imps, but obviously they are stronger.
Right.
Obviously with the rest of them we will get similarities with the other versions of the imps.
Oh, what are these?
Quite nice, and look! Guardian Sapling.
It's been a while.
It has indeed, and you prepared for more absolute gorgeousness?
Always, mate. Always. Bring it on.
This one makes me so happy.
Alright, let's see this good shit then.
As soon as I remember I need to be further away to do it, because it's been a little while since I've recorded anything. But it's fine, because divine intervention!
Let's do this. Breathe the free air again, Ryoshima coast. Oh my god, it's literally art. I'm sorry to get pretentious, but it is.
It's stunning. Like, there is a reason why so many people will say, if you need proof of video games as art, Okami is the place to go.
Well, at least on a visual playing field, you know.
I mean, I'd say even on a narrative playing field as well, because it deals with stuff that is so common in art. And I mean, ultimately, obviously, the visual style is based on classical Japanese art.
I think in terms of, like, weaving Japanese folklore into a gameplay or, like, gaming narrative, it works flawlessly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's never any point where I've noticed something that stuck out as like, oh, they're just putting it in there to make it seem more Japanesey, you know, everything seems naturally placed.
And I think that is part of the joy of it, is that it's a game that is just relentlessly Japanese, and it loves that. It loves the fact that it is what it is. Because obviously there's so many titles, especially that occurred in the more recent years, where Japanese video games have been desperately trying to be more westernized.
Oh, jeez.
and ultimately that has made them lose part of what made them special in the first place. And it's just effortlessly refreshing to see a game, even though obviously this is an older game now, but it's just refreshing to see a game that loves the fact that it came from where it came from. It's not embarrassed to be Japanese.
Oh man, this music, you were telling me about this track like before we started recording.
Was I? I mean, I love the music from Ryoshima Coast, but it's not actually... Actually, no, is it this theme? I think it's the next area's theme that I find even better.
Come on man, you're confusing me now, what the hell?
There are so many good tracks in Okami. I think it is the next area, which is the biggest area in the game.
Okay.
Which I absolutely adore the music too. I could be wrong, it might just be normal Ryoshima Coast.
Get it right, jeez! You said it was Ryoshima Plains, mate, the one you liked.
Honestly, I cannot remember because I just love all of them.
It was 6 minutes ago! Christ!
My brain has died since then. But yes, the song for this area is called Ryoshima Plains. I don't know why it's called Plains. I think that's because that's the Japanese translation or what have you, but it is what it is. It's still an amazing piece of music. And I absolutely adore it.
Thank you. That's all I needed. That's all you needed to say.
This part is basically just going to be exploring Ryoshima Coast, because we've got some good stuff to be doing, and ultimately this is going to lead us to the capital city, and told you we'd be seeing some slightly more questionable attire later on in the game. This man's just wearing a seashell.
Okay. I'm not going to question it. It might be part of the culture, but I'd be racist to question it if it wasn't.
Well, I mean, to be fair, more accurately, it's a seashell thong.
Ugh.
But there we go.
Could have done without the full tile, but I'll live. I gotta say though, I love coastlines, just in general. Like, the UK is just basically one big old island, so we've got coast surrounding every side of us. So, you know, Skegness represent and all that good shit.
Oh yes, I mean, and for those of you who don't know, Skegness is the closest beach to Tom and I. Like, I think that the beach area that I've got the most connection to is up north in Sunderland.
Up north?
Yeah, up north. That's where I've got the strongest connection to the coast. But it is always just lovely to go to the beach. Although it has to be a nice beach, because you go to a few and you start to figure out which ones you like the most. I tend to like the ones that are just nice and clean and open and beautiful. When you start to get the ones that are really stony, that's just like, oh no, that's not pleasant.
Well, it's been many years since I've actually visited Skegness. I don't know whether I'd classify it as clean, per se.
Skeggy's not necessarily entirely clean, but Skeggy's a nice beach.
Yeah, it's middling, I'd say.
Yeah, like, there's an annoying bit of, sharper, stonier sands before you actually get to the sea, when the tide's a bit further out. But it is still a lot of fun there.
So tell me a little bit about Ryoshima Coast, mate.
So I mean, I don't think I have entirely too much about Ryoshima Coast, other than the fact of, well, I've got a nice little, thing going on with it. So, Ryoshima, if you split up the name, you've got Ryo, which is twin, so you might think you'd be saying Ryu, which is dragon, but no, it's Ryo,
okay.
Which is twin, and Shima means islands. So Ryoshima literally means twin islands, because if you look over in the distance there are twin islands, which is really quite awesome.
Oh, it's these things from the Moon Cave.
Oh yes, they are indeed, and you're going to be coming across stronger and stronger enemies from here on out. It is worthwhile making sure you know how to defeat them properly, because otherwise you could get into trouble, but really you're not going to get into trouble because the enemies are still pretty easy to beat. Now, there's a few other things about Ryoshima Coast, is that the two rocky stacks that are connected by a Shimenawa is a very obvious reference to the famous scenery of Myoto Iwa, which is at Japan's Mie Prefecture in Futami Town. And so the Myoto Iwa are the married couple rocks, and the Shimenawa is a heavy rope of rice straw that connects the two.
I was going to say, actually.
Which is really quite nice. What's fun is that in Shinto myth, the Myoto Iwa represent the union of the creator of Kami, Izanagi, and Izanami. The rocks therefore celebrate the union in marriage of man and woman, and the rope which connects them, which weighs over a ton, must be replaced several times a year in a special ceremony. So that's quite awesome. The best time to see the rocks is at dawn during the summer, when the sun appears to rise between them, and Mount Fuji is visible in the distance. And what's quite nice is that at low tide the rocks are not separated by water.
Aww.
So that's quite cute, and so obviously...
It sounds aesthetic as fuck, mate.
Yeah, so the twin islands off in the distance here represent that. And what I also find really awesome is that Ryoshima is also a place in I believe it's Nagano?
Nagano Prefecture.
Yeah, where Hideki Kamiya grew up.
Yeah, you mentioned it several times around the playthrough, right?
I know. Like, I had a moment there, I was just like, is it Nagano? I'm pretty sure it's Nagano, but brain.
Oh god, it's not Nanako from Persona 4, is it? Jesus!
It's definitely not. So, I just find that like really awesome that it's yet another area that links to Hideki Kamiya's birth prefecture. And also, I have to say, I do have a lot of thanks to give to Ryoshima Coast, because it's the place, and doing my original Okami commentary, and doing that little bit of research into Ryoshima, allowed me to come up with the name for my fictional kingdom in my novel.
I think you've mentioned that before, yeah.
Yeah, like, Ryoshima Coast is why my kingdom in my book is called Ryoshima, because it's going with the dragon and island, so it's the Dragon Island. Because there's a whole thing to do with dragons in it, and it was just like, that was just the moment where everything clicked.
Right, yeah.
Because I had previously called it Ryoana, because I always wanted the dragon bit, but I wasn't quite sure how to end it, and because like Opolis didn't sound right, because that was too modern, and nothing quite fitted, so I'd gone with Ana for a while. Largely slightly based on Soliana from Sonic 06.
Christ!
Not the best thing to base anything on.
Yeah.
At the time, it worked in my head, but then as I got older, I was just like, no, I don't like it. So, finding and realising about Ryoshima, and that Shima meant island, it was that eureka moment in finding the place to, well, the name to call my little kingdom.
Monkish Fed. Check that shit off the list.
So, yeah, this place is quite big, as you've already noticed. It's not the biggest in the game. Now, that's coming next. It's the next kind of big exploration thing that we've got to do.
Okay.
But that's going to be a little while yet. Now, around the coast, we've got all these clams, and we power slash them and open them up, and we get goodies.
Well, you're supposed to get pearls out of clams.
I know, but evidently that's not going to happen here. Now, what I'm doing right now is, to be fair, a bit daft, because I'm going to be able to get, as I said, a holy artifact, which is going to be glorious.
Oh, will it allow you to swim?
I will let you see in the near future.
Richie, you've got to respond much quicker if you want to throw me off the scent, mate. I'm too savvy. I don't have many good skills in life, but savviness is one of them.
Tom, you caught me.
now you're just being patronising, so I think I'll ignore you for the rest of the part.
Well, I mean, you can do that, but then I suppose you wouldn't necessarily really have a much of a commentary, would you, Mr. Tom?
True. So I was just laughing at the fact the coral fragment just floated to the surface.
It is quite nice that the treasures that you get out of these do float up to the surface, otherwise this would be particularly awful. But yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing this now. I would wait until you have cleared the first third bit of this act of the game, because after that point you'll be able to get the really insanely useful holy artifact. You can obviously do it this way and try and be a badass by lily padding your way along the coastline. And, I mean, there is a simpler way of doing things, because if you create a lily pad and then use Gale Storm, you can, like, the lily pad will float along the water.
Yeah,
move.
yeah, just Wind Waker up, essentially.
Exactly, which is really fun to do, and is something that forms a major part of one of the side quests in the game, which I do very much appreciate. And also, you will notice very often in Ryoshima Coast, whenever it turns to night, immediately going to turn it to day, because this music is glorious. And I don't like it when it's night time and there's no music, because it's depressing. Obviously, there will come a point, well, not obviously, but there will come a point where we're going to have to deal with this place at night, because
Can't get out of here, you darkness.
there's something very important that we can only do at night, but it's all good. So, you see that little island in the distance. Well, it's not a little island, and it's not really in the distance, but over there, that island.
I'll wait for it to come back into view. Give me a second. Yes, yeah.
Well, not the pier,
Okay,
but the island there.
okay, yeah. I know the difference between piers and islands, thank you very much.
Well, that island houses, what's his face? Mr. Sensei.
Okay.
Onigawa Sensei.
Oh wait, so he's got like two houses.
Onigiri Sensei, that's it. He's got more than two, actually. He's got dojos located all over the world.
Christ, how has he happened to be in the one we're in at any given time, then?
Because he's a frickin' ninja.
Fair enough, I guess. I know there was a new skill available that you couldn't purchase last time.
Yes, well, that's because I didn't have enough money, and the Golden Fury it's an interesting one, shall we say. It's sort of a joke move.
Oh, okay.
But it does have a use, because it allows you to get Demon Fangs off of enemies without having to do anything majorly difficult.
Nice.
That said, I'll leave what it is a little surprise for now. So anybody in the comments, please don't tell anybody what the Golden Fury is if you know.
Oh, well, now people are going to actually say what it is, mate. You shouldn't prompt people not to spoil.
I know, but I'm just trying to cover bases, because we've got a lovely fan base, lovely viewers, so hopefully they will just respect.
Just being a bit patronising now, if I'm honest with you.
It is true. But basically, it's quite funny, is the Golden Fury, and I think you're going to have a laugh. There is one which is better than the Golden Fury, but that's going to be end game territory, because it's the most expensive technique in the game.
What, are we talking like $1 million here?
I honestly can't remember, but it is ludicrously expensive, and I would say it's not actually worth it.
Oh, damn.
Because all it gets you is, if it hits an enemy, you will get, I think, like 2 Demon Fangs or 3 Demon Fangs rather than 1.
Ooh.
Which I suppose it does have a use, but by the time you're going to have enough money to get it, it's far too late in the game and you'll have already bought everything that you could ever want to with Demon Fangs, and you'll have probably already gotten enough to get the S rank at the end of the game, so there is no point in it.
Well, that's a bit of a shame.
But these things happen, and it really is more of a joke move than anything else.
So what's left in the Ryoshima coast, mate?
So we've just got to explore the pier. We've got to explore the area that will lead us to the capital city. And we've also got to explore that island, although we might wait on the island until a little bit later.
Okay.
Because ultimately we are going to have to go there as part of the plot. There is a move that we will learn there that is necessary to progress in the game.
Oh, there's a pearl. Good stuff.
Knew we'd get one eventually.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might as well blow yourself along on that lily pad here.
Oh, definitely, because it's a long journey. And the one annoying thing about blowing yourself along on a lily pad is that you've got to be facing exactly the right direction to get yourself to move in the direction you want to move in.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, because I wasn't facing directly sideways, I started to move across, and that is simply not what I wanted to happen. So, hey, that's life. But it's fine, because really the pier is not that big. It's certainly not as big as the coastline that we have to go round on the other side of the coastline.
Bit of a confusing sentence, but I'll live.
I know, but this is the thing, when you've got lots of coast going on, you're going to end up using words that don't tie together very well.
Oh, look at that JPEG image in the background.
I know, but it's still quite effective, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And look! Kitty cats!
Adorbs.
I think these... I don't know whether these are officially the first cats that we've met in the game, but they're certainly some of the first cats. Like, you aren't going to... So you've been able to purchase the fish feed bag for quite a while, but you've not had any use for them until now, and so at this point you really want to have every type of feed bag stocked, otherwise you are going to run out of opportunities to feed things, because there are a lot of animals going forward.
Damn, man.
That's important. Yeah, the glaive can be insanely powerful when used efficiently.
Nice.
Actually, we are going to be facing off against a new enemy, I believe, as we head on up here.
Ooh, I can't wait. I got the Okami hype today, lads.
Well, you see, it's because we haven't... Okay, no, it's not a new enemy. I thought it was. It's the Crotengu.
Oh, these fucking things.
Yeah, that we faced down when we beat up the Cutters. It's fun that we've now got them as normal enemies, but I would say that... Yeah, they're a bit of an annoyance, because obviously they've got the whole thing of they'll block your attacks, but they don't lose their weapon immediately afterwards. You can find ways of hurting them a little bit more efficiently. Like you can use Gale Storm to spin them around. That's also their floral finisher. But yeah, not too much of a fan of fighting them, but oh well, these things happen.
I just love the way they fly away when you do the Gale Storm finisher.
And actually, no, I was right that there is going to be a new enemy. I made a mistake.
For fuck's sake, Richie!
You see, because I thought this was what we were going to... I thought that was going to be the enemy that we were going to face, and that was the Crotengu, but no. So this is an Ubume, I think. It's actually slightly terrifying. So the Ubume is an old woman or crone with a child in her arms that implores the passerby to hold her infant and then disappears. And basically the weight of the child increases by degrees until the bewitched child is revealed to be nothing more than a huge rock or boulder. So, yeah, they're terrifying.
Well, on that note, we'll see you next time for more Okami.